My hair is cray cray because, you know, it's just always like that. Okay, so I wanted to come on to this video and talk to you guys about the 5 pros and cons of counting your macros. But first and foremost, I want to talk about what even is counting your macros. What does it mean to count your calories? So when it comes to counting your macros, basically what it is you're tracking your carbs, fats, and proteins in your daily intake. There's 2 different things. You have your macronutrients, which are your fats, carbs, and proteins, and then you have your micronutrients, which are like your vegetables, your fruits, and all of that jazz. But counting your macros, you're just specifically counting your carbs, fats, and proteins. And then whenever it comes to counting your calories, what you're doing is you have a specific caloric intake, and you're just basically trying to count all of your numbers overall to see exactly where you are. You're trying to hit a specific caloric number. So the whole idea of counting your macros evolved and has come from men and women who do bodybuilding competitions. So those are like your bikini competitors, or the guys, I don't know what I think they're just called bodybuilding shows. But what they do is go into a caloric deficit, which means that you're gonna, over time, cut your calorie intake down to where you can lose a lot of fat. There's also the other side of it, where you're in a caloric surplus, which means you're gonna have a lot more calories in the day. And while people are in this season, it's called like your improvement season, where you're focusing on muscle gains, you're focusing on improving yourself as a person, you're focusing on all of those aspects of your life, and you have a lot more calories to intake. And then there's also where you're at maintenance calories, which is what your body needs to maintain your body weight, which you need to maintain your muscle mass, and all of that jazz. So for me and where I'm at, I'm definitely not ever going to do a bodybuilding competition or a bikini show. I just don't feel like that's for me. All respect to the men and women who do bodybuilding competitions. I think they're amazing. I think that it shows a lot about a person when you're that dedicated, that you're able to cut down, you know, that much food. But for me personally, I love to eat food. So I don't think that I could ever cut down to just very minimal calories in a day. But where I'm at in my journey is I've been working now for about 2 years now, and I have lost quite a bit of weight. Maybe I could put a picture here of what I used to look like, if you guys don't know. I like to say that I used to be a fluffy girl. Over the past year, I've gained a lot of knowledge in how certain foods that you intake affect your body, with how your mood is, how much energy you have, how much fat, you know, you can put on, how much muscle you're able to build. It's just amazing and mind-blowing to me. It's so intriguing to read up on how certain things that you put into your body, how it'll affect you in your life. And I just think that I love it so much. But anyways, this is the next step for me in my journey. I feel like I was ready to take on something new. I wanted a new goal. I wanted a new mindset, because for a little while I felt like I was kind of like at a standstill. I was kind of stagnant, like, okay, I'm working out, I'm eating this, and I don't really know what to do next. And then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a cut. My whole entire life, I've never had a flat tummy. I've never been super, you know, lean. I've always had some sort of body fat on me, which is fine. It's very healthy, but I want to see a change in my body. I want to see how lean I can get. I want to see my muscles pop out from, you know, all the muscle that I've put on. I want to see it, you know, pop out underneath all of my little fat that I have. So that's why I decided to do this little cut for the summer, because I was like, why not? We're gonna be at the beach, we're gonna be at the pool. Maybe I can get some abs to come out. I don't know, we'll see. So now let's get into the 5 pros and the 5 cons of counting your macros. So I have a little list here that I wrote down, just so that way I have a pinpoint of what I'm trying to do. So let's start with the cons of counting your macros. So number 1 for cons, it's a lot of preparation work. You have to make sure that your meals are prepared either the night before or at the beginning of the week. For maybe, I usually plan my meals out for about 4 days because then I don't want my food to go bad. But anyways, so you have to prepare them. What I'll do is go into my Fitness Pal, or I'll sit for a good amount of time and think about, okay, what am I gonna eat this week? How am I gonna be able to fit it into my macros? And how am I gonna be able to space out, you know, all of my food, all of my meals? Basically, I'll sit down and plan what my week is gonna look like as far as my food. So it's a lot of work, but if you're dedicated, I mean, I've said this numerous amount of times that I'm a very, very goal-oriented person. So when it comes to something like this, having a goal, I get so excited and I'm able to have my mind at ease to where I know that because I'm hitting these numbers, I know that I'm gonna be okay with my goal. I'm not have to sit here and guess, you know. Number 2, you're in a deficit. So as time goes by, some people are on a cut for maybe about, on the high end, 20 weeks, and some people would do a mini cut for about maybe 6 weeks. I'm more in the middle. I'm shooting for about maybe 11 to 12 weeks. And I am about 5 weeks in. So in that time, I've had my calories at a certain number. And now that I'm getting closer to about maybe midway, I have dropped them just a little bit because I don't want to slow my metabolism down too much because it'll be game over and it'll be the worst thing ever. So because you're in a deficit, because you are slowly cutting down more and more calories as you get to your end date, you do get hungry. And let me tell you, I love to eat, and sometimes like I will have to chew a piece of gum because I'm like, hasn't been 2 hours yet, I can't have my meal, I need something. So I will chug a lot of water or I will chew a piece of gum. Number 3, in some extreme dieting, your metabolism will slow down. Like I said earlier, I'm slowly cutting my calories and my macros down, just teeny bit, slowly tweaking them. So that way it's not such a shock to where I'm like at X amount of calories and now I'm at this amount and I've cut out like 200 calories and now I'm starving. And now my metabolism is gonna slow down because one of the main things is being able to maintain an amazing metabolism. That way you're burning your food off faster, you are digesting it better. In some cases, for people who do the bikini competitions or the bodybuilding competitions, sometimes their calories can get cut way low that it can really mess up your metabolism. So it's a very dangerous sport. Be careful if you decide to be a part of the bodybuilding competition. I personally will not do that, but more respect to you. Number 4, it can be a little stressful and a little confusing. So if you're new to this, like I was a few weeks ago, to counting my macros, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much information. How am I gonna do this? But just gotta take a step back, reflect, and gain all the knowledge that you can. There's a lot of videos about counting your macros. There's a lot of fitness YouTubers that will give you plenty of information on how to do that. Once you kind of gain knowledge and you go on for X amount of time counting your calories, you start to learn a lot more and it gets a lot more stress free. But at first it's gonna be a little overwhelming. I was trying to show my friends because they were interested in counting their macros, and they were just like, I don't understand the math, how do you figure this out? And I just kind of had to break it down for them and just, you know, kind of explain everything, and then it just made complete sense. And now that I've been doing it for about 5 weeks, not saying that's a really long time, but it's gotten a lot easier for me. So it may start out a little stressful, but then after you've been doing it for a while, it becomes a piece of cake. Number 5 for cons is that you might have to take quite a few trips to the grocery store, and it could be a teeny bit on the pricier side, so to speak, because the whole purpose of trying to eat healthier, the whole purpose of trying to be conscious of what you're actually putting into your body is paying attention to the back of the nutrition label on all of your foods, or buying more fruits and vegetables. Those are gonna be like your number 1 thing that you definitely wanna get into your diet. Your fruits and vegetables, your proteins. So what I will do is go to the grocery store maybe like on Sunday night after I've gotten out of work and go buy what I'm gonna eat for the next 4 days. And then after those 4 days are up, then I'll go to the grocery store again. The reason that I don't buy in such bulk is because I'm buying a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and you know, chicken and turkey, and it can't sit in the fridge or, you know, your fruits on the counter for a really long time because they're gonna go bad. So you will have to take a few more trips to the grocery store, but you know, it's okay. I'd rather eat more fresh fruits and vegetables and cut out all of the preservatives and know that I'm gonna feel a lot better than buying all these frozen meals or stuff that has a really long shelf life and then not have to take many trips, because I know that I'm not be putting bad food into my body, and I'm not really about that life anymore. Unless I'm treating myself to something like, I don't know, sometimes you just gotta have a little bit of bad food in your life. So now on to the pros. What are the pros about counting your macros? So number one is it keeps me accountable. Like I said earlier, I'm a very goal-oriented person. So being able to put my macros into my fitness pal and seeing what each food has as far as nutrients, it's amazing. It blows my mind, and it keeps me accountable seeing it on my fitness pal to know if I eat this piece of cookie or whatever, I'm gonna go over my numbers and then I'm not gonna reach my goals. So it keeps me accountable knowing that if I stick to this and I don't go out and cheat, then I'm gonna hit my goals and everything's gonna be great. Number two, like I was saying, it gives me something to shoot for. It gives me a goal. You always, anytime you ever start a diet or a cutting phase or whatever it is that you want to do, you want to have a start date and you most definitely want to have an end date. It's physically impossible for you to diet for the rest of your life. Nobody ever wants to be on a diet for that long. Nobody. So you definitely want to have an end date. So I started, when did I start actually? Let's look that up. I started March 23rd and my end date is going to be June the 1st. So it's about 11 weeks. So I have a goal. I know that whenever June comes around, my cut is gonna be over. And then I'm gonna slowly pick my calories back up to maintenance level from being down in a caloric deficit. So always make sure that you have a goal. You always have an end date, and it gives you something to shoot for. Number three for the pros is that you know exactly what you're putting in your body, so you don't have to sit here and guess, because like I said, you're putting everything into my fitness pal, so you get to see exactly all the numbers for what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. So you don't have to sit there while you're making lunch and thinking, you know what, how much fat does this really have, or how much protein am I actually eating? If you count everything out, you're weighing it out on your scale, you know exactly what you're putting into your body, so you don't have to worry about, am I gonna hit my goal? Because you know exactly what you're putting in there. You know exactly when you get that donut and you eat it, if you put it in my fitness pal, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, definitely shouldn't have ate that. Now, number four on the pros is that you will gain some willpower, because like this video, give it a thumbs up if you are a goal-oriented person, as I am. But me, inside of my mind, what happens is I have a goal set. So I think if I venture out or I have this craving, if someone at work is having a birthday, or you know, you go to a party and they have cake, or somebody brings donuts to work, in my mind I say, if I eat that donut, that means that it's gonna be like 2 seconds of satisfaction, and then in a few hours I'm gonna be so hungry again that I'm gonna want to eat more, and I'm not gonna have any room in my macros to hit my goal, to hit my numbers for the day. So I'm gonna ruin everything. So in my mind, my willpower, I like to think of myself that I have a really strong willpower, that I'm able to say, you know what, you enjoy that donut, and I will get back with you when I'm off my cut. Some people are different. Some people don't have the greatest willpower. Some people be like, oh, whatever, I did really good on my workout this morning, I'm gonna have a donut. That's you and that's your choice, but if you have specific goals that you want to hit, eating that donut eating a piece of cake. I'm saying all these sugary things because these are just the first things that come to my mind. But honestly, anything can be bad for you, but you just have to have it in moderation. But like I said, you gain a little willpower because you have a goal set in mind, and you know that if you cheat on it, you're not gonna get where you want to be. And then you're gonna sit here and regret that I shouldn't have eaten that donut, and now I feel like crap. It was only 2 seconds of satisfaction, and now I feel horrible because I shouldn't have ate it, blah, blah, blah. So it helps you gain a little bit of willpower. And then number 5 is that you gain a lot of knowledge about food. It's amazing how I never realized how much information is out there about food and what it does to your body, and how a certain amount of food will do this and a certain amount of food will do that. I never realized that your body actually incorporates or reads sugar or different kinds of fats the same way as it would comparing that you have a cupcake and you have all these strawberries, blueberries, or you know, cantaloupe, watermelon, whatever it is. Your body will intake it and read it as being the same. Sugar. Sugar is sugar, regardless of what kind of form that you're getting it in. One is just a little more saturated in sugar, and one is just a little more, it still has sugar, it's a little bit less, but it also has other benefits to eating that than eating this that has, you know, more sugar and more fat. A little bit bad for your body. So obviously this option is gonna be a little bit better, but your body reads it in the same exact way, and I didn't know that. Now it's amazing to know that your body will read sugar as sugar, and that's it. So you're gonna gain a lot of knowledge about food and all of the things that there is to know about what you're putting into your body. The next question is tracking macros necessary? Venissa, do I need to track my macros if I'm trying to hit a goal? Do I need to track my macros if I want to lose weight? Do I need to track my macros if I just want to live life? Absolutely not. It is not necessary. You do not need to do it. First and foremost, the most important thing, if you're barely starting out on your journey, is to make sure that you get your food intake under control. Not saying that you are overindulging in everything, but just trying to cut out the preservatives, because your body will make a huge change drastically once you cut all of those preservatives out. The first few days, maybe a week, you're gonna feel horrible. You're gonna be like, is this even worth it? It's definitely worth it. It's your body craving sugar and craving greasy food. But once you get over that hump, your body's gonna feel amazing. You start eating all these fruits and vegetables. You start eating all these whole foods. Your body starts to feel a lot better. You start to have a lot more energy. You're drinking more water. You cut out the soda. Your body is responding very well to how you're feeding it. So, do you have to count your macros to focus on your goal? No, you don't need to. This was just my next step in my journey for trying to achieve another goal. You can live a healthy lifestyle without having to count your macros. You just make healthier choices, eat better options compared to, you know, I don't know, having Chick-fil-A. So you don't need to count macros. This was just the next step for me. And in case you guys were curious about what I was doing or a little more information on counting your macros, that's why I wanted to make this video. And I'm also gonna leave a link in the description box of some, a macro calculator, and then some videos on how you get your certain number for how much calories or how much macros you're supposed to be having in your diet, depending on you. Because like I said, everybody is different. Everybody has their own goals. Everyone has their own numbers, because we are all different as an individual. So I'll leave a few videos down below, that way you guys can watch if you guys are interested. I personally, when I first did this, I did all the math because I'm just that person and I wanted to do it for myself. But there's also a macro calculator that I used just to compare, see where I was, see where my numbers were. And so I'll leave that down below if you guys are interested as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found some helpful tips and information about counting your macros. I'm gonna cut this video off here. I do have some workout footage for you from the other day, so I'm gonna throw that into the end of this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed it. I worked chest and tries, and let me just tell you that my chest is so sore from doing this workout. It was a good one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any more of my videos, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.
You only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. You only know you love her when you let her go. But you let her go. Look, see, I remember when I met you as a sophomore. Started out as friends, but I knew that we would want more. Hit your favorite restaurant with your favorite dress on. That's one of my favorite memories that I've kept on the road with me. I know it's crazy how things change so quick. Went from rock bottom to all this fame and shit. But look, I couldn't love you, but I wished I could. Cause I got hurt and closed you off and you understood. But look, yeah, that's just blood on the leaves. The champagne tastes worse when it wasn't for free. That's why these thirsty bitches didn't come here with me. Move along, girl, there's nothing to see. And what a blessing every second is. Missed calls and messages. I'm missing nights when you would call, just checking in. The girl I love, I ain't seen her in months. That's just the cost of being up in the front. And yeah, we used to say this world was ours together. Yeah, the pain fades away, but the scars forever. And fate hurts, but remember the hope. Cause things change, but the memories don't. You only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low.